Let's talk about the summer units because they should be coming presumably within a few weeks here, and in JP they all got their master ability 2s. Now this was a much bigger deal in JP because there was also job overhauls where skills were upgraded, especially for these summer units. They got specific skill upgrades. Now we don't know if we're going to get those in global, and if we don't, if those are coming down the road in some other update, then this is actually kind of looking bleak. So let's take a look at what each unit got and we'll go from there. Let's talk about Summer Lilyth first because she got some pretty cool upgrades. She has the element bonus, and both her and Summer Kitone are going to be getting this because they don't have it on their master ability. So that's just nice to see. But what's unique for her is that she got 10 more defense, 20% HP, and it's actually 30% when you take the element bonus in, and then 1 more range and increase immobilized chance 25%. So this is pretty good because you can build for more defensive builds with her. That was supposed to be part of her kit, is that she's very tanky, or at least very durable compared to other gunners or ranged units, and that's certainly going to be the case here. But she's still not going to have like massive survivabilities, even though the 30% increase in HP is actually 800 more HP. So she'll be like the tankiest ranged unit that we have, but it's still not saying a lot. She's going to be fitting into those Earth teams a lot more easily with the ally bonus, which is pretty cool. And then the big thing here is this 25% immobilized chance. Now that seems kind of weird because Shadowbind's not the greatest skill in global, but the Shadowbind skill got upgraded in JP and it's actually insane. So it has a huge range in JP, plus she gets +1 range, so massive range, and then it also has 100% counter chance reduction on it. And then when Lilyth uses it, it's going to have a 50% base chance to immobilize, and that's actually pretty potent. So we're talking about her being able to pick people off very early in a match and maybe just sideline them by keeping them all the way at the back of the map. So that's kind of cool. I'm very interested to see how that works out at manual PvP or on some manual maps that you might be playing on for PvE. Overall, I don't think she's going to be a top level range option. I don't think that she has those innate resistances and other things that she needs to truly be a bulky ranged unit and a powerful ranged unit. I think she's pretty good, but the perspective of this video is, should someone pull for her that has never pulled for her in the past? And I definitely would say no, that you shouldn't. Next up is Summer Kitone, and she also got the elemental buff upgrade for her party ability. So those things also affect her health, her damage, and that's all great. Her LB got upgraded. We'll talk about that in just a second here, but the other things are a 15% AoE resistance buff, and that's actually really key for any sort of caster to have that to survive when they get caught in AoEs that are targeting the tank. She also has a casting time decrease, which kind of just brings her in line with a lot of other units. So that's good to see, but it's really just catching up, not getting ahead of anything here. So really, at the end of the day, for these upgrades, the 15 AoE resist is like the best part right there. That is huge. It gives her a lot of help in surviving, especially because the Kodadama wielder job got upgraded as well. The anti-magic wall also gets some AoE resist. So if she gets specific casts off, she'll actually be quite survivable in a AoE environment specifically. So her LB is also upgraded. It's going to have a imperil right before damage, so a spirit imperil, and then it's going to hit them, and if it doesn't kill them, it's going to put them to sleep, which is pretty sweet. So I think that's also really good. The Kodadama wielder got a lot of upgrades, like a ton. So, a Heart Like Needles was a magic attack buff and a spirit penetration buff. It also is a 40% magic buff now. So, Bursting Light is 100% hit. Unavoidable Pain is instant cast. There's all these cool things that kind of, got upgraded, but we don't know if we're going to get those in global. So if we don't get those in global, she's a for sure no. But even if we did get those in global, like let's say they did decide to upgrade those early for us, I still don't know if it's worth it, because she still needs to get really close to her targets for the most part. She still isn't that, good at surviving a lot of damage. She doesn't have like incredible resists or anything, even though she can buff slash resist and some other things. I just think that, she can't really keep up with a lot of the mages that we're seeing right now, like in terms of damage, in terms of survivability. So she's not someone that a new player should be pulling for, but if you already have her, then you could just be looking forward to those upgrades. Next up is Summer Kilphe. She already had the elemental buff, so there's no change there. However, her existing master ability got buffed. We got 20 spirit now instead of 10, and 15% attack instead of 5. And that would be about 40 more attack on her kit. And we also got a 20% luck buff, which is actually pretty cool because people do run her as evasion, and that's going to give her 35 luck stat to add on to her total. This is going to make her more evasive. Her luck isn't as high as someone like Locke, Helena, Tubi, Zazan, but it's pretty close, and it's actually higher than some other evasion units. However, her agility at 64 is low for an evasion unit, and she doesn't have evasion passives, so it means that she's not going to be a top tier evader, but she is going to be more evasive. It's going to be more viable as an option for her, and that's just a good thing to have. It's a very nice buff. They didn't have to do that, but they did. We also saw Strider get some upgrades in general. So Spirit Ward Mastery gives 25 spirit to allies, and that means that Kilphe's spirit can get to 51 without any passives, gear, espers, whatever. That's pretty crazy. I mean, that means that she can build a pretty high spirit total, and if you don't have, if you're going against a team with not too much spirit penetration, it makes a big deal. I mean, even with spirit penetration, it means she has that much more spirit after being penetrated. So, I mean, well, that's a sentence. She also gets some upgrades with Twisting, Shield Breaker, Ignoring Courage, and Black Panther Punish, absorbing 70% of the HP, the damage that it does, instead of 30%. Now again, these upgrades, the Spirit Ward, the Twisting, the Black Panther, we don't know if those are coming to global. Just based off the master ability upgrades, she's actually looking pretty good. Again, not worth pulling for like someone that just doesn't have her. Don't pull for her. But if you have her, then she becomes a lot more viable, specifically targeting spirit-based matchups or situations where you can make her evasive enough to be evadey, which is not right now with Joker and Leela running around. But again, with all this stuff coming up in the future, these units that are just a little bit stronger, that are pushed a little bit more, you can't be pulling for these summer units. The final unit that we're going to look at is Summer Elsirelle, and she probably is the best of all 4 of the units. Her master ability upgrades includes a buff from 15% magic to now 30% and 10% agility, 10 defense. So that's going to put her at 24 innate defense. She can raise it further through passives. It's a really good starting point to be able to build a very bulky Summer Elsirelle. Again, if you can target a defense, based matchup, then that's actually pretty good. The 30% magic means that she's going to get 51 more stat, added to her total. It's a good place to be. And then the biggest winner is 10% agility equates to her actually having 5 more agility than she did before. So she gets just think about that. It's like equipping an agility TMR. Boom, it's just innate, it's happening. She got a 5 agility buff. That's a really big deal. So she also got some scholar upgrades that are pretty good. And again, we don't know if we would get these in global, but if we do, there's some pretty nice ones, including Law of Preservation. Actually has a 100% resistance to all element imperils. That means you can't imperil her for light damage, dark damage, whatever it is. If she gets hit by, Black Rose Helena, by her limit burst, there's no imperil happening there. That's actually a really, really big buff to get that off. Now, she has a ton of skills that she wants to use. So you really do, this is a skill that you might have turned off on some scholars. So for this to happen now, you need to plan out your skill usage and your on and offs and all that kind of stuff. Similarly, the title calling skill and just those elemental buff skills that all the scholars have, depending on what element they are, is going to have more of an evocation gauge boost and also a single target resist buff. So even more single target resist. That's a really strong buff. If you're doing mono element parties, even if you're not, it's still a really strong buff, and that's going to be requiring more consideration to be added to your rotation. And then for her specifically, she has Law of Safeguard Safeguarding, which is a 30% physical barrier. Now it's a 50% physical barrier. So if you get that up, you have high defense. You know, you're looking pretty good taking some physical hits, unless it's from Cloud. So is Summer Elsirelle worth it? I mean, she's pretty interesting. I really like her survivability. I like that she has courage, high defense. Her LB is nuts, right? It's so good. I still don't recommend it though. I still don't recommend you pull for her. I just can't. I can't do it because, again, there's just better units coming, and you know, she's just becoming more and more outdated even with the upgrades. However, she's probably the best out of all of the summer units, and I think that people that already have her will be very pleased with the upgrades. And just like any of these units will see play in, you know, things like limited guild battle. They'll see play in PvE. They'll see play in, you know, some of them in live PvP. You know, the ranged units, maybe Summer Elsirelle because of her bulkiness, maybe Kilphe too. Not Kitone, I'm sorry, she's done. She won't match up in live. But otherwise, you know, I think that these units are all really fun units, but they haven't really stood the test of time, and it's tough to see them continuing, you know, or being able to do that in the future. So, you know, if you're thinking about going for these waifus, it's because you love them, not because they're good units. So that's going to be it. That's my review of these upgrades coming for the summer units. If you want a summary, the mastery ability upgrades they all look nice. It's not enough to pull for those units on their own. The job upgrades are also pretty cool, but still don't push them over the edge for me personally. If you do want to pick one of them, you want a summer unit, you want a swimsuit unit, I mean, pull for Summer Helena if she comes here, right? That's your choice. But if you wanted to get a second swimsuit unit, because you're that type of player, you want two babes, then I think Summer Elsirelle is probably your next choice. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. And you know, if you made it this far in the video, you can like the video, because you must have liked it, right? And you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and then otherwise I'll see you all in the next video.